Hello everybody, I am back in the problem space. Once again, checking out a research repository, this time for Hackney Council, local council. Never been there, I'm guessing it's in the UK, maybe in London, should have researched first. I want to look for some insights, I want to gather some knowledge from my own research project. One thing I've done this time is gotten a little bit more prepared. I've got research goals, and I also remember the discussion guide from the research stream of the REOPS Research Repositories project. So I've got that in mind when I'm making up questions for this. But my goals for this bit of research, or for this project that I'm doing, is to deeply understand the journeys users take when they manage knowledge within their organisation. Specifically, to understand the tasks users need to complete while they create, add, find and consume research artefacts, and how research repositories fit in those journeys. And also to find opportunities where users can be better served with completing those tasks. So, this research repository at a glance looks pretty different to the last two I did. The previous one was GitLab's Insights library, and the one before that was this collection of research papers from all over the shop. It wasn't really a repository, but I treated it as such. So, like those two, this is going to be a real-time thing. There's going to be lots of ums and ahs. Forgive me for that. I'll try and talk as quickly as I can. My kids are playing Minecraft and I want to minimize their screen time, so I'm going to do this fast. So, here we are on the home page. The user research library. Doesn't tell me much more than that. It's a library of user research. It doesn't really tell me that it's part of the Hackney Council, apart from looking right down the bottom. Richard Smith, you're in charge of this. Good work. But it doesn't tell me anything else. It doesn't tell me what the purpose of this is, whether there are any guidelines on how to use it, whether there are any structural setups or things that will help me compare topics and dig around more confidently. That wasn't very articulate, sorry. So going beyond that, I can see search projects. Is that a set of filters? Does that form a set of filters for these collections, or are projects and collections different things? I'm guessing that they are different. So, can I browse projects? I guess maybe if I go search with no query strings, who didn't let me. Okay, so moving on to collections on the right side of the screen. These are grouped, I assume, by user types. Different groups of people. Community groups, council staff, council website account users, library users, user researchers. That's me. This is going to be surprisingly relevant. What's great about this is there are only 2 pages worth of stuff to go through. So if I want to focus on a particular type of person that's living in the council, that's cool. But I'm going to come back to that, and I'm going to check out these projects first. Keywords. Bloody keywords. If you watched the last 2 videos, and why wouldn't you have, you would know that I suffer from keyword anxiety. If I'm given a blank keyword field, what am I going to type there? in projects. Of course, with each of these things, I am completely not involved with the organisation. So if there is a vocabulary that is being used, I don't know what it is. I'm just coming in fresh. So we've got keywords. We have phase, project phase, alpha, beta, discovery, and live. It's a shame that that's alphabetically sorted because I think discovery comes before alpha in the real world. Document type. Oh, okay. Now, data stream people. Hackney Council, this is what they have as far as artifacts. Audio recording, customer journey map, discussion guide, etc. Started before. Yep, okay. It started after. I wonder why that would be so relevant. Now, there are very few fields in this form. Started before and started after, you know, they're there, and because there are so few, I would assume that people using this library find dates really, really important. I ignored dates in previous videos and regretted it just because some stuff can go stale. But I'd be curious to know, Richard, what the rationale there was to have that so prominent so early on. And show me only projects in progress. Once again, I wonder why that is. But anyway, I'm not going to bother with keywords. Actually, no, I am. I'm going to try good old knowledge management. Just knowledge. Let's just start off with knowledge. Because knowledge management was a very useful keyword with the first video. 0 projects. Let's try research. 26 projects. Okay. Now, I can't sort by relevance or anything like that. I can't sort by anything. So that might be a good thing to have to be able to sort these results. And okay, I'm looking through these results for the word research. Maybe I'll do my old Command F. Research. Okay, it says, it's my fault I chose a really silly term because they're going to say, we did research, and that keyword is going to be present. So this is all research stuff. Silly me. Once again, keywords, huh? But here we go, developing an open user research library. That's going to be relevant. I'll come back to that. Okay, let's have a look at that project. Alright, so this is what a project looks like for our friends in Hackney. What have we got? It was started in April 2018 and it is active, it is still going. Details. Developing a user research library for all Hackney projects to which anyone can contribute their own user research. And it has a listing on pipeline. I don't know what pipeline is. Where's it going to take me? If it's an external link, it would be nice to have a little external link icon. What have we got? New tab, external link. Please warn me of these things. Pipeline. So I'm guessing this is a list of all the local gov projects that are going on. Budgets and so forth. Alright, I don't want to know. I just want some insights. I don't want to know that stuff. Phases. It's gone through the discovery phase and it has either gone through or is still in the alpha phase. Cool. The phase that I am in with this project is probably discovery. Now, I don't know if I really care if these other repositories that I'm looking at, like whether their projects are in any phase. I just want insights. Like I might want to know maybe if other people have had particular challenges in the discovery phase, like whether they had a hard time defining research goals, or whether they had a hard time agreeing on a methodology, or data gathering techniques. That might make me feel good about the project I'm working on, but it's not going to help me gather insights for the users that I'm thinking of. Key contacts: Richard, Lucy, and Matthew. Key contacts, if I find some insights in here that are particularly cool, it would be fantastic to contact these people and learn more. I'm a big advocate of repositories being, a place where you can stick stuff in and try and use some magic to get some relevant insights. But I think the most important thing is person-to-person communication. Hey, I found this insight in your repository. Can you tell me more? And here are all the documents for that project. So what have we got? Discussion guide, insights, research overview, research plan, and user needs. This is great. This is covering pretty much all of the stages of research, or all the stuff you need to cover each stage of the research. It doesn't have raw data. I wouldn't really expect it to have raw data because there would be some privacy shenanigans going on there. But it would be nice to know what raw data was collected. But anyway, let's start with, what were their research goals? Do they have goals? Let's go research plan. Now, I would probably put research plan at the start, chronologically. It seems to be the first thing that happens to me, with me. Once again, external link. Please put the little external link arrows on there. So, because maybe everything, I don't know, what else? Docs.google, I'm having a look at the links at the bottom left there of my browser window. So I'm not going to be able to search through any of this content in here, which means that if I'm using the search functionality of this library, it's going to be searching this data, this content here, which is pretty light on. It relies heavily on someone doing the right thing and putting a lot of extra information in this project page here. So maybe in the future this could have some more fields that could be searchable, or the stuff that is in Google Docs can be imported into here so it can be indexed for searching. Anyway, the research framework, which is research plan, research framework. Consistency is a good thing, because I've been faffing around and gas bagging. I've come to research framework and thought, oh, is this the plan, or is this sort of background thing? So consistency of your titles is important. Hackney Council aims to be the most user-centered team in the country. That's a great goal. lots of stuff about methodology. Okay, here's what we know, existing insight. Council's using different tools. The use of each depends on the project team. We have identified 3 core user groups: consumers, producers and commissioners. Do you give us more detail on those? User research generates a diverse range of outputs in diverse file and technical formats. Don't we know it? Whew. Files all over the shop. Now, how might we? I love how might we. Everyone loves how might we. It's fantastic, it's powerful, and it's easy to remember. How might we create a common repository for research insights in Hackney? We want to understand, like I want to understand, the current practices and experience of conducting, collecting and analysing user research in Hackney Council, who prospective MVP users are, and establish an understanding of their needs, key moments, interactions and use cases where user research is searched for, accessed and used. So this goal is very similar to my goal, but would you like to try searching using keywords from mine to get those results? It wouldn't work, because we're all different, wonderful, unique beings. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're into natural language stuff, you could grab that and you could grab my one and try and programmatically map those two so they match. And then get a third one and try that and see how successful that is. You may be noticing that I'm skeptical of automated matching of things. By the end of the project, we will have a 360-degree view on the possible user research library users and their needs. Validate the vision for the user research library against the current reality. Create a learning tool and a means to continually feedback learning and insights from the MVP. Discover and prioritize use cases that we can design to, and build an awareness and understanding of the project amongst user research library users and other indirect stakeholders, those that may benefit from the library and not even know it. Cool. All right. And they go into research methods, shadowing, creepy, interviews in context, auditing, chatting on Slack, phone interviews with senior leaders. Some of you people in research ops may have been interviewed as part of this. You may have worked on this and be on in the research ops community as well. Desk research. So yeah, so this plan is cool. It matches up pretty much exactly with what we're doing with the research repos project. Although our goal is to create guidelines for people creating their repositories. We don't want to make a repository. So I just want to get some insights now. I know that the plan matches our plan. Really glad that that's there. I'm just going to dig straight into insights. So, what have we got here? Pre-discovery pack. That doesn't sound like an insight. Prototype usability research, round 1. So these are grouped as insights, but they don't have that format that insights, say, in the GitLab repository had, where they were either statements like people don't like cats that shed hair all over the couch, or user stories like, as a user I want to know that my cat won't shed hair all over the couch because it makes me snooze. These they're inconsistent, or they're kind of they're nouns. I guess it's a pack. There is research. I'll have a quick dig into another couple of projects and see if they're consistently like that. Okay, hypotheses. As opposed to statements. And okay, so let's have a look at the themes first. Are these themes repeated? Are they grouped? No, they're unique. Okay. Raw data is a need. We believe that providing raw data for user researchers and service designers will result in greater trust and deeper lines of inquiry. Well, where's the raw data here? I agree with that hypothesis. There's evidence somewhere. I don't know what these... Is people the amount of people, or are they identifiers? Evidence, the number of evidence, or are they identifiers for bits of evidence, like quotes or graphs or something? Journey maps as an anchor. We believe that anchoring user research to journey maps for teams across the council will provide a shared view of the end user and their experience. Cool. I reckon probably the rest of these statements are going to be pretty solid hypotheses. Now, is the plan to disprove these? Do some deductive research, deductive thing. That term's new to me. I haven't quite got it right. So these aren't statements, it's we believe, so is the intention to do more research to confirm that? I don't know. So I can't hang my hat on these. I can't take this and put in my own project and say, yeah, cool, this is something to take. It's something that I'm waiting on them to continue working on. Existing product desk research, and I'm guessing this is checking out a whole bunch of platforms, and yes, here they are, in vivo. Qual Spotter. Huh. I made Qual Spotter. It's not really a thing now, but there you go. That's how old this is. Cool, all matched, but yeah, that's not really an insight I want to... It doesn't help me learn about people's motivations and what they do. Draft pre-discovery pack. There's a handover pack, not a pre-discovery pack. Once again, it's a small thing, but I don't like surprises when I click on a link and get something with a different title. What have we got here? This looks like a template. I think. Yeah, it gives me no... It's a guide and a template. One thing that would be nice to see is a description for each of these. Just one sentence would save me clicking and going, this is for me or this is not for me. Okay, this is looking a bit more like it. Looking at the left, I can see tasks like adding insight or adding tags. So I'm going to try adding tags. I have thoughts about tags. Adding tags. What tags do I add? Both users ended up putting tags which were already recorded in either the title type of research product or the project name, all of which have already been recorded. There you go, that confirms my hypothesis that tags suck or are easily abused. Both users thought that tags were the only searchable bits, even though everything should be searchable. So this stuff is useful for me. I can take, I don't know two internal users. A bit of formatting would help digest some of this information, like how many people were participants, how many participants there were, and that sort of thing. But I reckon there's going to be plenty in here that I can take to help guide my my questioning, or to take back to the research team and say, hey, you know how you wrote in that discussion guide, here's some things that Hackney found when doing some contextual inquiry or usability testing if they're doing stuff. So this is awesome, and I will spend some quality time with this and read it. So one of the things that a researcher does when looking through a repository is having to really quickly look at stuff and decide whether it's relevant enough to be worth their time to dig into more. And the first video of the first repository, I created a whole spreadsheet and a scorecard to help with that decision making. It was a nice idea, it didn't really work. Intuition is probably a good thing, unless you're handing off a big list of stuff to somebody else to read in more detail. So I'm happy that this is relevant, but I pretty much stumbled on it. I did not come to it with any confidence that I was looking for the right thing. I pretty much clicked on 3 links in the insights section before I got to some actual insights that were relevant for me. So that's a bit of a bummer. I mean, if this didn't have such strong keywords that were relevant to me, like if it didn't match pretty much one-to-one with what I'm thinking, I probably would have given up on this after the first couple of links. So yeah, descriptions, more descriptive or more accurate titles can really go a long way. It has no technical cost. It doesn't. You don't have to index all the content and have it all searchable. There's nothing particularly clever. It's just tweaking the words a little. So yeah, that's cool. I'm going to go back to the user research library and have a look at a collection. Now I'm going to go straight to user researchers. What have we got? What is a collection actually a collection of? It's a collection of that project. And is this another project? Now from these 2 list items, I can see some consistency, which is great. It's like verbing a thing. Developing an open user research project, understanding how best to ask for consent. I like that consistency. Let's have a look at this one. We want to make our research as accessible and inclusive as possible. We conducted some research to review, sorry, my reading's not good today, review our user research consent form to see whether we could make it easier for our users to participate in research in the future. This has no insights. It has an insight. Well, it has the insight is the new form. That's a cool form. I've written a bunch of these forms. I've read a bunch of these forms. This is a cool one. It's not an insight though. It's a form. It's a template. And the summary of research undertaken. What was done? So I can imagine someone at the Hackney Council standing up in front of other Hackney councillors presenting this at the show and tell. I'm guessing this is the original form. People don't always know. Yes. Gotta make them know. Some good stats. How might we? Again, love it. You reviewed a bunch of stuff. Automated language tools to see which words might be confusing. Yeah. And then you did some usability testing on it. Okay. So, I mean, this is fantastic. The whole thing's fantastic. I have to dig through the whole thing to get little bits of insights. So, I'm not certainly not criticizing this fantastic work, but when I'm using this repository, I'm having to dig. And because I know the subject matter pretty well, I know how to dig quickly. If I was working in another department, and I guess the point of repositories for me is people working on unrelated projects or in unrelated departments getting useful information from other departments and other people's projects, breaking down the silos, as it were. So those two projects that I looked at are for researchers, for people who are working with researchers doing the research. People who are working in unemployment, there might be some useful information about understanding forms. If you're getting people to fill out the, is it still a UB40 form? Or equivalent. That stuff around the language it would be really, really useful. But you're not going to find it because it's just too hard to access for anyone who doesn't know research. So making the language more generic or splitting the goodies out. It's hard to know what's a goodie. We're trying to anticipate what a little goodie is, or a nugget, if you want to use that word. I'm going to try using form as a keyword. What do we got? Yeah. I don't know. I think there's some fantastic content there that will likely get lost. That shouldn't be lost because it was really, really valuable. And that's where you got to decide, how much you want this repository to do for you. As it is, it's a great way of storing stuff. I mean, most of the actual stuff is in Google Docs, but it's catalogued here. It's fine. And it has potential to be a clever insight generating thing. But do you want to do that? You know, is it better to rely on the interpersonal connections, the people who are working on these projects, and having them offline or in another platform or in this platform or whatever, chatting and sharing keywords and insights conversationally rather than in a structured format, which is what we have here. Structured formats which are easy to abuse, like the example in here said, you know, people put in tags that were repeated elsewhere. A structured format here with the aim of making insights and nuggets and whatever findable may not work because they get abused. But having the key contacts there, I think, is fantastic. Overall though, Hackney, I love this. And I'm not in any way an expert in repositories. You know, I've made a couple that you know, this puts to shame. But I really like this, and it's great to find stuff that is really, really useful for what we're doing in the Research Repositories project with the REOPS community. If you haven't checked this out yet, Research Stream members, check it out. I'm done. Time to tell all the kids to get off Minecraft.